involving
DJ.
O-U-G-H? J-O-U-G-H-N? Join?
Do you want to open the podcast with a rant about that sort of stuff?
Nah.
Yes, he does.
No.
Okay.
No. We could invite... who even brought up that was stupid?
I don't know. Dear listeners, if you want to know what we're talking about, you're going to have to join the Discord at discord.io/loose screws. Okay. That's great. Isn't that fantastic? It's because I'm a professional.
Starting off with an in joke. It's great.
Yep. Well, I'm just saying,
you'll have to go through the tough process, even though you don't want to.
Oh.
That was an in joke. Okay, so it's the 2nd of June, everybody, and it's the Loose Screws podcast. I'm Commander J Antrax, and as usual, we're going to talk about Elite Dangerous, and I don't know, just chill. No big deal. No big schedule. No place to be at a certain time. So, joining me today is Commander Chig. Hello.
Hello. So data says that if he's 15 minutes early, it's okay, or 15 minutes late. He showed up exactly 20 minutes late tonight, so he needs to get flogged?
Well, I think we started that conversation because he said, I'll be there in about 20, and then he arrived precisely at 20.
Yeah.
So as far as he's concerned, if that was the target, right, he hit the bullseye.
Oh,
yeah.
So he's making the
any of his 15-minute error bars.
I strive to be on time, but if I am up to 15 minutes late, I don't feel bad.
Yeah, if you don't like it, fuck you.
Yeah.
It's because he's
a little slow.
Yeah, he's the professor now, so he can be late.
That's right. And that is the sultry voice of Dr. Commander, Lieutenant Commander Data.
If my HOTOS is on my desk at the front of the classroom, that means I'm here and the students can't leave. The 15-minute rule in class. Yeah.
Oh, I like this new thing. I like this.
Yeah.
That's cool. Nurgle is also here, rounding up the crew.
And I believe that is the first time in mankind's history we have heard the phrase HOTOS in the classroom.
May it not be the last. So, everybody, how do you want this hangout to go? Just like normal? Should we change it up? Should we start at the bottom, go backwards?
It's not my week to make those decisions. It's on you.
I think I'll do it regular.
Normal
yeah,
style.
Just normal mode. So that means we're going to start off with some who's done it? Who done it? Who done it this past week? Hey everybody. Were you three were the crew last week, right?
That's right.
Yes, we were, yeah.
Oh,
yeah, you guys did a fantastic job, by the way.
You don't listen when you're not here.
I do. I listen to every episode I'm not on, and every once in a while I have cause to listen to an episode I am on. It's usually if I'm trying to pull out a soundbite. Actually, that reminds me. I think somebody asked me to pull out a soundbite from the last episode, and I still haven't done it. I have to scroll back up and find that time code. Anyway. So, sorry, was there going to be a comment about that?
Were you screaming into radio when you heard Chig play Bard's thing over his phone into his microphone?
Actually, it didn't sound that bad. It made the elaborate effort I go through to do it correctly in quotes seem really stupid. Because I do a bunch of software routing, and I have a special app that plays the thing, and I go ahead and I run some processing over Bard's thing because he's not happy with his microphone, but I do some fixes to it, and then all this stuff happens. And
all I did is pulled up Discord on my phone and hit play on the soundbite into my microphone, and it worked. Nice.
If it helps you feel satisfaction doing all that, then it's worth it.
Is it any consolation that before we started recording, we tried it to see if it would work first? Then we're like, oh yeah, we have to do it this way. This will drive Trax crazy.
So you even planned to try to drive me crazy.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Well, it doesn't make it sound any worse to know that. So what can I say?
Well, you're welcome.
I'm a realist. So anyway, how have you guys been since this past week? Chig, what have you been doing?
All kinds of stuff. I pulled apart my 3080 Ti because I wanted to get some liquid cooling on it to see if it could run at something other than 81 degrees. And it does. It's always kind of nerve-wracking pulling apart. Some people are like, it's no big deal. It's easy. It's when you're pulling apart your GPU, there's all, you got the thermal pads and the thermal paste, and it's all sticking together, and you're holding a card that costs over $1,000, and it's like,
gotta remember where all the screws go. And I agree with you, man. I take computers apart and put them together all the time. That's disassembling a component. That is not assembling components together into a computer is totally different than disassembling a component itself. That'd be nerve-wracking. Yeah.
And people want you to use anti-static wristbands and this and that. I don't do any of that shit. I just go to town.
Yeah.
It's a good time to mention this is not financial advice.
Yes.
Yes.
We are not offering any financial advice.
Yeah, we prevented somebody a long time ago in the Discord. They're about to build a computer. They were going to try to ground themselves into their home wiring system by tying a wire from their wrist into the ground socket,
like plugging it into the
You're totally making that up, aren't you?
No.
What?
I remember this. Yeah, this is a long time ago. We'll have to have. I think NL hates our Discord historian. He'll have to look this up.
You are a long-time Discord person. You would know.
Yep. Yep.
I don't remember that, but I don't not remember it. It sounds true-ish to me.
True-ish.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
True-ish.
It's true-esque. It has the feel, it has the mouth feel of something that's true.
Truthiness. It has truthiness.
Right. A lot of truthiness there.
But needless to say, it went off without a hitch. It's the EVGA hybrid cooler thing. And they send it to you. The fans that come with it have RGB on like one side. So, and it's assuming that you're going to, vent the heat out the top of your case with it, most likely, through the radiator. But I actually was putting it at the front of my case and doing push-pull with the fans. So I'm actually going to have to get different fans if I want my RGB to show properly. Well, I've got another radiator on top for my CPU.
Okay.
So to do it, I was putting the radiator on the front of my PC, but it works great. My CPU's not running any hotter. My GPU is running 15 to 20 degrees cooler. It actually made a big difference. So I'm super happy with it. I know 80 degrees isn't end of the world on your GPU, but I just didn't like seeing a number that big all the time. So I just wanted it to run, down in the 60s. Or I was playing like Metro Exodus and it's running at like 52 degrees, 51. It runs super cool now. So
nice.
I'm happy with it.
So when you say push, but first, I have two questions. First of all, did you play with fan curves? Like, did you do anything besides stock fan curves on it before you tried this?
Yes, I played with a lot of different fan curves and playing with stuff because, the fans that come on those EVGAs can do 3,000 RPMs. They're insane, and you can keep it. I could push the temperature down in the 60s, but it literally sounded like there was a jet airplane revving up for takeoff, in the room with me.
Right.
Those three fans were.
I found that EVGA's stock fan curve is really what's the opposite of aggressive? Like it's
passive.
They're very, very weak.
I guess. Yeah.
Non-aggressive.
It has to get mega hot before they will really start to spin up. They basically prefer noise. And even just turning on the overclocking utility is enough to make it kind of reset into that zone. But I have the non-TI version, so I'm sure that the thermals end up being considerably different.
Yeah, this thing,
I think it's basically the same board as what I have.
Yeah.
Right, it's basically the same board, but with more cores on it, so it's like not really comparable. But Oh, the other so you said you had a push pull.
I've got fans on both sides of the radiator.
Okay, so you mounted the radiator
into the radiator. Yes.
Right, to your front case fans.
Yes.
Basically.
On the inside, and then another set of fans to the inside of that. So it goes.
So would you even be able
fans,
to see the
fans.
RGB like through the radiator?
Well, the fans on the front you can, because it goes fans, radiator, then fans. Now, if the fans were on the way that they send it, I'd be able to see the RGB on the fans, but it would be pushing right into the fans. You know, they'd be pushing against each other, which...
That's what you meant by on one side. So you reverse the direction of the fans to pull on the backside of the radiator, and therefore the RGB is on the radiator side of the fan, not the radiator side of the case. Got it. I'm sorry.
Yes.
I just had to picture this.
Yeah, so now you got it. Yes, the normal fan, like my normal front case fans. You know, there's 3 on the front of my computer with the RGB.
Yeah,
those I didn't remove. I just took out the screws and replaced them with long screws that could reach the radiator. You know, they were just screwed to the case before, but then now it's longer screws that reach the radiator. And then there's fans on the inside of the case. You know, it's only a 240 millimeter rad. So then there's 2 fans on the inside of that. So there's 4 fans on a 240 millimeter radiator, and it keeps it nice and chill.
Yeah. Well, of course, your CPU didn't change because that's on a liquid as well. So
exactly, but now I was a little bit concerned because that's on top and it's pushing air through the radiator out the top. And the air inside the case has passed through the radiator going into the case. So air in the case itself is a little bit warmer, and that's the air that's going to go up through the
CPU radiator.
Yeah, but not working that
CPU. Think about it. The GPU before, its hot air was just being blown inside the case anyway.
Right. Because it was all blowers.
Yeah, it was all contained in there, so it was all just hot air in there. So I think that this actually, it's probably going to be cooler ambient air in there anyway.
Yeah, you're adding thermal mass to the whole situation too.
Yes,
because that's the thing about water cooling, right? It's not that you don't need fans, but it's that your all that liquid is a heat sink.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's my first time installing a liquid cooler on my first time replacing a cooler on a GPU. I have in the past pulled off a cooler to replace thermal paste. You know, I did that on my 2080 just 6-8 months ago. But this is the first time putting a whole new piece of hardware onto a GPU. So it was interesting and a little like I started the project one night and I'm like, I'm just going to think about this. I'm not going to... I was getting frustrated. Well, I was getting frustrated right when I started, and I said, I'm just not in the mood to do this because something's going to go wrong. I'm going to get Rammy, and I'm going to break something. So I just set it aside. This is something you learn with age, kids. Just if you're frustrated with something from the start, just set it down and come back to it when you're in a better mood, because otherwise you'll just start cussing and possibly breaking stuff. So I came back to it and did it the next day, and it just went super smooth, quick. I mean, relatively easy project. I was surprised. It was more, I was actually more confused at one point because there's the 2 coolant hoses come out of the radiator, or out of the cooler that then go to the radiator, but there's also an extra wire that comes out of it. And it had like male ends on it. I'm like, where the fuck do I plug these into? And my brain just got confused. And I'm like, what is this all about? But it was to plug the fans on the radiator into. So the one fan that's on the cooler is synced with the 2 fans that are attached to the radiator. That makes sense.
So it's a control wire?
Yep, it's a control wire.
Okay.
So it was, it's weird. I don't understand why they did it. And playing with the curves and their software and stuff, there's something not quite right with the way that it is. But I've got so many fans in this case now that my commander control unit, my Corsair, commander unit, I think it's called, for their IQ stuff, I don't have any slots to plug any more fans into in that because I just have too many.
Well, you'd want it to be keying off of GPU thermals anyway, right?
Yes, but if you're setting up custom curves, you could, realize at what temperatures and stuff. You can tweak all
I
that.
suppose IQ could monitor that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't touch any of that. That all sounds like RGB to me, so I don't touch any of that.
Yeah, awesome. The best stuff in the world. But I think we've talked about this one long enough now.
Sure enough.
As far as in-game, I've done like nothing. When incursion zones go away, I get sad because I like to kill bugs in groups, and we just, I don't know if anybody realizes it outside of the massive bug hunting people, but there are no incursions right now. If you want to hunt bugs, you got to fly all the way out to Pleiades or Witch Head and go hunting signal sources, or you can go to the mega ships. And I think the other night I was thinking about sending out the bat signal and seeing if anybody wanted to go do mega ships, and then I'm like, I'll wait till incursions come back. But over on the AXI Discord, they've talked about, hey, there was a period where we'd go months without incursions happening, and that just made me sad.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens.
There was almost a year, I think it's at one point.
Yep. So that's my story.
All right. Data. What you been up to, bud?
Well, most recently, I've had Little Caesars pizza for dinner, and I'm drinking beer, so I am extra gassy tonight. So
Tell me about that.
I'm trying not to burp it directly into the microphone every time.
You can burp all you want, just don't sending stink for your microphone.
Burping is the least of our worries.
Pro tip, Little Caesars, you can get the seasoning they put on the crazy bread. You can get that on your pizza. It's a nice Parmesan garlic. You ask for crazy crust on your pizza, like an extra $1, but it's worth it, if you ask me. Yep. In video games, I have only played a handful of nights this week, and that has been in a game called Hard Space Shipbreaker. It was a game I had on my Steam wish list for a long time while it was in early access, and then I guess it went 1.0. It was a game that actually came out of early access, so that's a good thing to begin with.
Wait, that happens?
Yeah. Yeah.
And that game's on my list too. It looks kind of interesting. How is it?
And APOC alerted us that it's on Game Pass also, so that's where I've been playing it. It's fun so far. I'm only a couple of levels into it, but yeah, it's a fun.
What is this called again? Sorry.
Hard Space Shipbreaker. You cut apart spaceships for salvage. It's like the typical dystopian.
You're a belt-a-loader?
Sort of.
Basically.
You're around Earth, but yeah. It's the typical dystopian future where this mega corporation is terrible and you work for them and they run everything. So you're basically a slave.
So you're playing a game where you become a slave and you... What?
Yeah, you work at like this base garage and you have to cut apart spaceships and sort the pieces and put them in the correct disposal area, put them in the processor, or you put them in the furnace, or you put the pieces in the barge. All the while you're floating around, in 3D or a 3-axis space. You got to deal with momentum. You got to deal with pressurized airlocks. You could get blown out into space if you open the door wrong, and all the air gets blown out. I'm not that far into the game. Maybe 2 hours I've played of it. But it's fun so far. So thanks, APOC, for reminding me that game was on Game Pass. And in real life, my weekend was dominated by Memorial Day festivities. Always seem to have a lot of family gatherings around that weekend. First with the wife's family, and then with everybody. And the big part of Memorial Day around here is the big parade in a little town called Ironton, Ohio. They have the country's longest running parade. Been going on since like the 1860s, and it's about as exciting as you can sound as it sounds like it is.
Yeah, you're piquing my interest.
Yeah, but it's tradition. You go to the parade on Memorial Day. You go sit in 90-degree weather on blacktop
My daughter was supposed to be in the Memorial Day parade in our town here, but there was a chance of thunderstorms on Monday, so they canceled it. And then there were no thunderstorms until like 10 o'clock at night. So I was able to get my grass cut, thank God, because then we got like 3 inches of rain. So, but yeah.
They are very serious about this parade here. Back in 2020, when lockdowns happened, they had like a little miniature version of the parade that nobody came to, but they did a live broadcast of it on Facebook or whatever. They could keep the record going of the most consecutive years that this parade has been going on.
They did a mini version of it. Did they have somebody actually walk the parade route and
yeah,
like, word it? Okay.
Yeah, they had like a little mini parade, which, yeah.
Wow.
So
do what you got to do, I guess.
Slightly sunburned, drank plenty of beer. So it was good, but it was busy. So yeah, hard space shipbreaker, a lot of hamburgers and hot dogs, a big parade. That about sums it up for me.
Wait.
Wicked. Nurgle, what have you been doing, bud?
I don't know if I can compete with that. It's been a pretty bland week.
It's not a competition, but if yours isn't as good, we will judge you.
And you lose.
Nice try.
Yeah, I mean, out of game, it's that time of year when in the southern United States, the temperature is in the 90s and so is the humidities. So, that's just buckets of fun, especially for, a job where I spend a lot of time outdoors. In game, I've been doing a lot of, and we'll talk about it in Squad Update later, been doing a lot of stuff for Operation ScramJet, which is going well, and contemplating whether or not I want to get involved in the CG, since I hear there's a lot of money to be made, but I don't know if I can bring myself to Space Truck Tritium for cash. That I have a low threshold for tolerating that type of monotonous boredom.
That's tough.
Yeah.
It's a noble profession, the energy industry.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I cooked out over the weekend. I busted out the grill and did hamburgers and stuff, but had a nice, relaxed, long weekend that I really appreciated.
Nice. Gotten into the... So if you're grilling hot dogs, get you some brats. I've tried some jalapeno cheddar bratwurst. Years. It's good.
No. I'm gonna clue you in on a regional specialty, Kaneka sausage.
Huh.
And if you grill Kaneka sausage, preferably while you're grilling the sausage, you put a little piece of aluminum foil on the back of the grills, throw in some cut up onions and bell pepper, a little bit of garlic and some butter, and just let that simmer in the background. And then you serve the whole thing like a hot dog with that on it. Now you're talking.
Nice.
I've never tasted the meat of the Kaneka.
It smells nothing like
First of all, Kaneka sausage is like 45% fat.
Perfect.
Which is why it tastes so damn good, but the stuff will kill you.
It shrinks up into nothing when you cook it.
It does shrink up when you cook it, because But like my dad, my dad liked to grill pork loins, and he would take a pork loin, put 2 or 3 pieces of Kaneka sausage in the middle of it, puncture them all with forks so the juices seeped out, wrap the pork loin around it, then wrap bacon around the outside of that, and grill it.
That is a legend.
And that stuff, again, it's like pure fat. That stuff will kill you, but you will die happy.
See, you talk tubular meats like that. You mentioned the brats up here. We've got a couple meat markets that just do a ton of the specialty brats, like Philly cheesesteak, mushroom and Swiss, different jalapeno ones, just a bunch of different brats.
The cheese sauce is inside of the brat.
Yes.
How do they do it?
Magic. White magic. Amazing magic. I don't know. It's not evil, that's for sure.
It's not evil.
But I had thought for years about doing like a food truck thing. But instead of corn dogs, it'd be corn brats with all the different flavored brats inside of a corn dog. I always thought
that would eat.
Be a great kind of stick to go. It'd be, no pun intended. Stick on a stick. Man, I got it. There's the name of my food truck. So I do a stick on a stick food truck that would be different flavored brats, battered in corn batter and deep fried. I think it would go over amazing. So anybody wants to steal that, go ahead. Just write me a check for
I think
royalties.
That's doable. Because I remember in like elementary school, sometimes breakfast would consist of something that looked like a corn dog, but it was actually sausage on the inside instead of a hot dog.
Wrapped in a pancake.
Yep.
Yep.
So
tasty.
Feasible, Chig. Yeah.
Yeah, I might be onto something, or I'm on something. Either way, I like to eat. I'm a fan of tubular meats.
I'm hungry.
All right. Are we going to mention what happened at the bottom of the channel here?
Was going to get there. So guess who walked in the door? It's Ty Worsham. Hey man, how you doing? What you been doing this past week or two?
Yeah, it's been a couple weeks. See, the last episode, I think I've missed 3 episodes at this point, right? Or is it just 2?
Just last week, I think. You were here the week before that. Yeah, I think it was just last week. It seems the week I host, people skip. You sons of bitches.
Well, so I had a graduation to go to, and then I had some shit going on at work. When I think I actually
Chig?
I think the graduation worked out to where I was home, but I think the shit at work, I think I had to skip that night. So anyway, I may have it reversed. I can't remember now. It's been a minute. So,
well, it's been a week.
God, I can't believe it's just been a week. How did that happen? Anyway. Oh yeah. So what have I been doing? God, brain fart here. I just got through eating a crap ton of tacos and cake. So,
nothing wrong with that.
Hey, is it? Let me step in here. Is anybody a fan of the Mexican pizza at Taco Bell? I haven't gotten that yet, but I guess it's real popular right now.
So I am a huge fan of that. All right. So I remember back when they had bell peppers and black olives on the damn thing.
Oh,
like that was back in the heyday of the Mexican pizza. And then what they have now, what they've brought back is good. All right.
Like a new Mexican pizza.
Yeah, it is a shadow of what it was.
Like Albuquerque.
I was thinking more like New Coke, but hey.
One other thing I'll say about the Mexican pizza too is I heard today that Taco Bell has suspended sale of the Mexican pizza because of shortages and our supply chain issues with it, rather. And I think it's possible I ate the last 2 Mexican pizzas in America.
Wow. What do you think they're short on, Mexico or pizza?
It's gotta just be the freaking eco. It can't be the whole mix or the pizza part, because Papa John's not having any problems.
They're short on the petroleum byproducts that go into it.
It's gotta be the flat hard shell tortillas, right? Because that's the only part that's unique. Everything else at Taco Bell, it's the same ingredients.
You just deep fry a tortilla.
He just means it's the only thing that they use that exact part for.
Yeah.
I described it like a car.
Yeah, it's true.
Because
they're made in a factory and they're not particularly edible. So,
like most cars.
Most.
Most is the operative word there. Sunday, I went and saw Top Gun.
Ooh.
No spoilers.
No. The coolest thing about it is that I actually, so a buddy of mine who served in the Coast Guard for 20 years. He was a Coast Guard helicopter pilot for like 17 of them. I went to high school with him.
About helicopters?
Hold on. I'm getting there. Anyway, I actually got to watch it with him, and it was kind of cool to watch a movie about pilots with a real pilot, even though he doesn't fly those planes and stuff, but it was still kind of cool. So,
neat.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of neat, but I really enjoyed it. I know a lot of people have talked some shit about it here or there. I really enjoyed it. I thought they did a good job with it. I'm not the biggest fan of Tom Cruise and his ridiculousness, but man, he makes a good, fun movie. So
you weren't watching Tom Cruise; you were watching Maverick.
Yeah.
People need to calm down. People are always going to yell about movies. Who cares, right?
Yeah, if you go to watch a movie and you're worried about the politics or the weirdness of the people in it, you'll never be able to watch a movie again because most of those people are crazy as fuck.
Yeah. So. Let's be real for just a minute. The people we watch in movies and TV shows, those people get paid a lot of money as professional liars.
Yeah.
That's what they are.
Yeah, they get paid a lot of money to be somebody other than themselves.
Right. Nobody wants to see. I don't go there to see the real Tom Cruise. I don't go there to see, the real Amber Heard and watch her poop on a bed.
I go to watch the real Scarlett Johansson anytime.
I don't even really like her. You can have her. So
sold.
So anyway, I really enjoyed that. I thought that was really cool. But that was kind of my last week and a half, however long it's been.
Cool.
Yeah, I know.
All right, I'll go. So I had 2 weeks, as I always do. The week before, I had a band come into the studio, so I had sort of my usual schedule is all mixed up. I'm doing different things. I'm doing podcasts and other kinds of productions and stuff for different clients, and some music things, smaller stuff here and there. So unusual for me to have like a whole week of the studio locked out by a band, but basically we just worked on an album all week, which is kind of cool, like, but really tiring. It's just very, very focused the whole time. Fun bunch of guys. It was cool. We also did, I don't know if this is going to make sense to anybody, but unusually we did everything kind of song at a time instead of instrument at a time. So usually when I'm recording multiple songs, we would set up an instrument like the guitar or whatever, and then we'd record everything we're going to need with that setup, and then we'll move on, right? But we did not do that. We did the song at a time. So we'd set up a song, and who knows, maybe we'd do the bass first, maybe we'd do a piano first. On one of the songs, we did a vocal before we did the guitar. It's really unusual. But it was kind of cool, and took up kind of all of my time and concentration, and I pretty much slept after that each day. And didn't really, this is when incursions were disappearing anyway. I didn't really play any games. Worked through Saturday, and then it was that Memorial Day weekend. My daughters made friends with a kid at her school, so they're in first grade, and like her best friend at school, their family's kind of a bit rich, and they have they live in a very nice house in the nice part of Cincinnati, and they have a heated pool in their backyard. And so they had a play date, and we all joined her for that, and just sort of like lazed around in the pool on Sunday. And she stayed over there and with her friend. And then on Monday, on Memorial Day, we kind of are going to go over to pick her up from that, and we end up kind of going over, and they're all back in the pool, and it's like we kind of casually just slip into the pool again. Eventually get invited to stay for dinner. So we all end up spending like 30 straight hours in a heated pool. Just I got a little sunburn on the shoulders. But so from super work to super relax, and then unfortunately, then it's sort of back to work again, because now I'm playing catch up on all the little things that I missed when I had a full studio lockout. So I haven't really had time to play, even if I wanted to. But with no incursions, I really didn't have a strong push. In what free time I had, we were watching, getting into the new Stranger Things. No spoilers. I'm only 2 episodes in. Anyway, really enjoying it. My wife commented about how much more scary this season is than previous. And I don't know. I don't really react to like scary movies and stuff in that way. So it doesn't bother me. But on the flip side, the other thing she wants to watch right now is this documentary called The Deep End, about a megalomaniacal, psychopathic, charlatan, psychic cult leader person who is, currently a YouTube personality. And and is a terrifying thing. I think that's way scarier than Stranger Things. Like I said to her last night, this is real. This is actually happening. It's not just something that scares you when you turn the lights off in your house. She exists in the light. Anyway, so yeah, I've been doing a whole lot of nothing. In fact, what little time I did find to play, I decided to fly out to the Guardian site and pick up a few more weapon blueprints in case I need more of those. And being my first time there in Odyssey, I discovered all the things that are different about them. Like how the Sentinels die much easier and don't shoot any missiles at all. But anything, like any materials that you run over, like the SRV wheel, like kicks them into orbit instantly. They just vaporize. So it's like super hard. You have to be super careful if you're trying to collect those darn Guardian mats. Like, oh man, that's a valuable one. I don't want to hit it with the wheel. And it's like a pain. And plus the thing crashed to desktop like 3 times while I was out there. And it's rough.
Jeez.
It's rough, man. And at one point, the things you have to shoot off the totem, it's the piece of cargo that you need for the end of the scenario.
Yeah.
The relic, that's what it is. So the relics just became invisible to my guns. Like that whole column, my gunfire would just go straight through. I couldn't activate it to knock it down. I even took a running leap and tried to jump up there and just scoop it while it was still up there. And I just passed right through it. It's like, what the fuck is going on here? But then I remembered in this game, I can get out of the SRV. So I got out, drew my weapon and shot it down with my handgun, and then climbed back into the SRV to scoop it. So that's how you work around that bug. I guess that's the same shit. Like anytime you're doing materials, I guess in the SRV and Odyssey, it's like sometimes they just stop being shot and you have to get out and hit those ones by hand. So that's convenient. But I did it.
2 things about what you're talking about. First, the thing where the materials get destroyed super easy.
Yeah.
What's frustrating about that is when you're doing the Guardian mat collection crap, you're logging out. When you log back in, your cargo scoop is retracted. So if you forget to put it back out before you go to scoop, bam, you destroy one of the damn mats.
Precisely what happened.
It's so frustrating. And
I destroyed a technology component that way, and I was so pissed because that's the one you're always running out of, right?
And you memorize where they all are. So the first one you're going to, you know what you're getting, and it's one of the important ones. And damn it, scoop's not out. Eventually you learn as soon as you log back in, deploy cargo scoop. But second, you said you were playing catch up. And remember a number of episodes ago, I mentioned smoked cheese was the cheese of the week. And the reason I didn't like it is smoked. And then I said ketchup the same reason. Then somebody said smoked ketchup. I'm like, oh my God, mind blown. And then somebody said they tried looking for smoked ketchup. They were going to send me some, but they couldn't find it. I told the story to my mom. My mom, wife, and daughter went out to dinner the other day. I was telling this story to my mom, and I said, and he couldn't find smoked ketchup. Can you believe that? She goes, you mean barbecue sauce? I'm like,
hold on.
Yeah.
Good job,
Hold
Mom.
on,
Thanks,
Google.
Mom.
Smoked.
Good job, Mama Chig.
Ketchup.
Yeah, basically, that's barbecue sauce.
What? No, this isn't right. Smoked ketchup is...
You're live Googling now.
Yeah, we're live. This is important. Is smoked ketchup barbecue sauce? Question mark.
Pretty much, barbecue sauce falls in the same category for me, though. If barbecue sauce is on something, that's pretty much all I'm going to taste. So that's why it's going to be a good barbecue sauce.
Yeah.
I'm not convinced that smoked ketchup is barbecue sauce. There's a lot of stuff here, and none of it says.
Isn't barbecue sauce like brown sugar based or something like that? Or molasses
there's totally different stuff in it.
Get your mom on here. We got to talk.
Your mom lied to you. Your mom lied to you.
Get her on the line.
Okay. Last thing. Now I'm sitting on my carrier with nothing to do. I'm sharing an image with you guys.
Oh,
you know, in the carrier, there's some seats right outside the bar, and one of them's like lower for some reason.
Yeah, it's feet.
So there's a person sitting in that in my carrier, and their legs just go into the floor because they're sitting down onto the seat.
The other guy's feet are floating above the floor.
Yeah,
too.
nobody's exactly on the floor. Everybody in this whole place is either slightly in the floor or slightly above the floor.
We all have to apologize to Chig's mom. I see on some recipes for barbecue sauce, it consists of brown sugar and ketchup.
So but it's not smoked ketchup.
Well,
it tastes like smoked ketchup.
Yeah. Ketchup based with a smoky flavor.
Okay, we'll revisit this mystery, this enduring mystery at some point in the future.
Table that discussion. We'll circle back around to it later.
All right. Should we get to...
When Chig has his food truck for, various wrapped hot dogs, takeoffs, he can serve
stick
them
meat,
with stick meat. He can serve them with smoked ketchup. Which will just be barbecue sauce with a different label on it.
Okay. Let's get down to business here, shall we? And I'm going to start right in with the Squadron Briefing. Here we go.
Incoming priority message. Squadron Briefing.
Only a few things going on, but a couple of them are really involved. So the simple stuff first, we're still trying to push Bumbur into an expansion. That's not for anything special. That's just there's a gap out there. The most convenient faction to push in to fill it is us, so we're going to do that. We are still trying to push ourselves and the second place faction in Snoqui Xian back together so we can have another war to try to take over another base. I think we're going to have to do that 2 more times to get to Myka's rest, but that's only because there are only 2 assets left in the system to take. And since they added Myka's rest last, I think it's going to be the last one we pick up. And we're about 10% apart there, so that one's pretty close. And then there's everything going on in Lambda Andromedae for Operation ScramJet that Bloomingwind and Lark Shadow have kind of taken the lead on running. We've got Kaliala Jet Life, which is the target faction. We've got them pushed down to about 8% now. We've got a couple of more days we need to push on them to try to get them down under 7 and then try to get them down into retreat. There's a whole bunch of information about both Operation ScramJet and all the other stuff we've got going on in the Loose Screws faction channel and the Standing Orders channel in the Discord. So if you want to participate in either one of those, go and check those out. And of course, ask any questions in there if you have them.
Sweet. Let's go talk about the Thargoid Bug Report and play this cool and scary sound. I love how loud I made that last roar.
Very spooky.
It's an angry whale sound from Star Trek 3.
Yeah.
Nice. Transparent aluminum. Nuclear vessels. I'm just saying
more quotes. Come on, more quotes. Come on.
Well, I'm trying to add some random shit to this because since we decided to have the Thargoid Bug Report, all incursions have gone away. There's nothing new about bugs to talk about. We aren't even hunting bugs because we have no AXCZs to go to. We were hoping and anticipating that we were going to have an uptick in Thargoid action, and it's just been a whole lot of nothingness. So until we got more news, we'll keep giving you the bug report and stay tuned. We've got exciting things to share with you at some point in the future, maybe.
So what you're saying is, since Loose Screws started doing a Thargoid bug report, humanity has been saved and the galaxy is safe from Thargoids.
Did you hurt yourself patting yourself on the back? I'm just curious. That was good work.
If we must be humanity's salvation, then... there's nothing. So actual bug report
to you.
So bug report, the GPU utilization issue remains at number 8. Lark Shadow told me today he saw somebody in the wild who doesn't know me posting it on Reddit. That's fun. Who wants to talk about it? I already mentioned some bugs in my last time. basically Guardian Sight nonsense, or maybe it's just generalized SRV nonsense, but I don't know.
Who's played enough this week to have a bug? Call out something. Somebody's had to experience something.
Wow. Bug free play.
Bug free
this week.
Wow.
Hard Spaceship Breaker didn't have any bugs. Worked great.
I kind of want to give a little bit of an update on the mission bug I was having.
Yeah.
All right.
So I've actually already talked about this in chat, but I don't think I've talked about it on the podcast yet. So back when a few weeks ago, back when I kind of started getting back into the ground game a little bit more, I started doing a bunch of like just every mission I could find, and it was constantly getting crashes, bugs, couldn't complete the mission, you name it, all kinds of problems. Well, then I discovered the graphics bug where I did a complete reinstall of the entire game, which fixed my graphics bug. And guess what also came with that? Aside from the scary, where characters are like have the arms out to their side.
Mm-hmm.
Or or the scary, the weird thing where the characters can't move, is like they're stuck in the ground or whatever. I haven't had a mission just fail because of a bug.
Good.
Nice.
But, my first thought was like, oh, good, this shit's fixed. Doing that fixed it. Yeah, here's what I also think about that. I shouldn't have to reinstall the game to fix their bugs because it's their bugs. It's just weird to me that to fix the problem,
have you tried turning it off and on again?
I mean, like I'm a member of IT. I've been in IT for 20 years. Like part of me is like, oh, well, this fixes it, so who cares? And the other part of me is like, yeah, but is that what's really going on here? Is a situation where reinstalling a game fix it? Wouldn't their installer or their updater kind of go, hey, there's some weird files here. We're going to fix it. We're going to scan it. Think about Steam. Steam has like a scan and repair mode. The Blizzard launcher has a scan and repair mode. The Epic launcher has a scan and repair mode. So, the Xbox whatever launcher kind of has a repair mode thing. So I'm trying to figure out, why would FDev not have some sort of repair mode to look at their files and say, yeah, these files have been modified or these files are messed up. We're going to go ahead and download some more files or fix these files to where they'll work right. So that's my thoughts on that.
And you'd think that they would, being that this is technically an MMO, things should be required to fix themselves that they sync with everybody else. Some files on your local client shouldn't be causing issues, in the core operation of the game. And the fact that worked for you makes me wonder, a lot of our crashes, our Blue Cobras, Purple Pythons, when we're bug hunting together, could be one bad file on one of our systems is causing, the adjudication servers not to validate something. And that's why we're getting the crashes. And that's why we get it so often in multiplayer. There might be something to dig into there.
Which is exactly my point. My brain's kind of sitting there going, this is something that we should not have to deal with. And I would love for someone else who has encountered similar problems to do a reinstall of the game. Go to that folder that I mentioned. I can find it again. If you message me, I can give you the exact path to it. And then delete those files, reinstall it, and see if that actually fixes the thing. Because that's the thing. If that is a direct correlation to someone having similar issues and that fixes it, well, then that's a direct problem with their launcher.
Right. Yeah, so, we read it last time, and for the record, I looked at the time and found that my system did not have any extra stuff there.
Mm-hmm.
Unlike yours, right? So it was sort of easy to see, like, is your thing broken the way Ty's was broken? Was pretty easy to see, yeah.
And my buddy Gun Skills, his wasn't like that. And I was actually talking with Phoenix to Fire over at Lave about this. And he was saying, I want to pull it up because I can't remember word for word. I don't want to misquote him. He was saying he runs most of his missions solo and he doesn't really have the same problems. Well,
fully. All
the
bugs we have are super magnified when there's other people there.
Yeah. But like just like Chig said, this really makes me think that if I have 2 or 3 versions in there that have some weird kind of file things going on, and Chig doesn't, but then Trax has 1 or 2 folders in there that has some weird things going on because of whatever update, and then Data doesn't have these problems, but Data is actually, for whatever reason, has just 1 folder in there, but it's actually a different version of the folder in there because for whatever reason it didn't get it. How the hell does any of this work together?
Or does it even?
That's the $64 question.
Yeah.
It's a cheap question.
Yeah, well.
That was a lot of money back in Nurgle's day.
Thanks.
But I think you guys kind of see where I'm driving with this, is that it like in my mind, it doesn't make a lot of sense why the launcher doesn't just look at your shit and go, yeah, we probably should scan this and fix this. We should probably look at these files because it knows its own folder structure. It has to know its own folder structure in order to be able to put the files into these, in order to be able to download, or for it to know that there's an update available. And so it has to know these things. So if it knows these things, then it looks at your stuff and says, hey, you have 4 extra folders here. Let's delete these.
Well,
sorry, you're going to have to download extra files this time. Sorry about your luck, but that's how it is. But
that's the part it doesn't do, though.
Right.
It's good at adding. It doesn't try to subtract.
Which, man,
that's really, where you stack up spaghetti right there.
That really makes me wonder about their whole, like going back to the whole the infamous database code thing that people like to talk about all the time. It makes me wonder, is something really wrong there? Do they really need to get on board and fix some shit, Well,
I think, irregardless of this specific issue, the answer to that question is yes, they need to get on board and fix some shit. I think that's an unequivocal yes.
Yeah.
Update 12 solves all. Yep. We'll be sitting pretty, guarantee it. You come back to me and tell me I'm wrong on the 7th.
Optimism.
I will also tell you that we have, just like Trek said, we got a big patch coming up on the 7th. And in my mind, that's going to be a telltale patch. That's going to be the first one that they probably have worked on unconsole molested, not having to think about the console stuff, to where we can actually kind of see, are they really going to be able to fix some things?
Right.
I'm not putting any of my eggs in that basket. I appreciate that. Like, lots of people have been saying that, and I know why you're thinking that. But if you go, and Data will back me up on this, if you go getting excited like, oh, now's the moment, now's finally the change. No, wait until the change happens and then get excited that it happened. Don't get pre-excited for anything in this game. It's not got a history of going well. Besides hearsay and conjecture, we have no reason to think anything different happens in development before or after the dumping of consoles.
Well, and there's a very good chance that nothing at all will take place, that we won't notice anything. There's also a very good chance that all the stuff that they like the console part is the last part they do, and it won't affect us at all. But from what I've been told, from what I've read, like they kind of do things, not specifically Frontier, but most developers kind of do things at the same time. Like there's definitely an order to things that have to take place, without a doubt. But like as much as can be worked on at the same time, they work on it at the same time. So it would stand to reason that if they have 2 developers working on the console ports, that they could take those 2 developers off and move them over to whatever, and they could help out the main team. And now they don't have to worry about that no more. So it would stand to reason.
I hope you're right.
I hope I'm gonna be honest. Like I don't have any hope personally. I think it's screwed. Like, not the game itself. Don't misunderstand me. I don't think that they can fix, or I don't think they have really larger plans to fix until a big release, you know?
Yeah. There's been zero discussion from them or many people about like long-standing issues.
Right.
Like mission bugs. I haven't heard any chatter around that. It's all been...
Well, there's supposed to be like over 100 bug fixes in update 12. That's
optimism works if, in theory, the problem was they didn't have enough man hours to fix the problems. My concern is
now they have more.
My thing is, it could be a core competency issue rather than anything to do with throwing just more man hours at it. Yeah. You know, if they take, 4 devs say we're working on the console ports, and we have no fucking idea. We're just making shit up. But if they quit working on that, those guys should, in theory, that the man hours they were putting into that, they could be working on other things, maybe fixing old bugs. But we don't know if they're going to even send them to those kind of problems, if they're going to put them on another project. We don't know. But my thing is, it could just be, it's a competency issue, not just a manpower issue.
From what you all have said, I'm sorry, no, Data, you were going to say something.
And they're probably focused more on things that like seem more important financially, like putting out things that they can call new features in these updates, these going back and fixing these old things that really isn't stopping anybody from playing or stopping new people from joining the game. They probably don't see as important to fix.
Yeah, that's an interesting perspective, because like you have, fixing old bugs would mean a lot to us, but it's not going to change what anybody writes in PC Gamer, is it? Whereas new features change what gets written in PC Gamer.
Well, I would challenge that a little bit by saying that if you kind of think about it, if they were to release, and I'm not saying that they will, don't misunderstand me. I'm not saying that they're working on this at all, but if they were to release a patch that genuinely address performance issues in bugs, et cetera, and just release, a patch that really hunkered down and fixed all these problems, and we did all these 5-year-old bugs that we have, and they fixed all of them. I think there's a strong possibility that could make some news. I think that would make a little bit of news to where they could get some players back.
That would.
Yeah. Well, I haven't spent money on ARCs since the console delay. I'm kind of stubborn that way, where they have not shown me yet, after Odyssey release and everything they've done going forward. And obviously, there's no way I could recommend this game to anybody because of the issues we deal with. And some people, you really have to be doing specific things in game to really see the bugs. And even when I first started playing this game, people complained about how buggy this game was and how, shallow the pool was, a mile wide, inch deep, all that crap. Is when I first started playing it, people were saying that. And I'm like, I don't see that at all. I love this game. This is the greatest game ever. And now that I've played it as long as I have, I've seen every fucking wart on every single body part this game has, and I deal with them on a regular basis. If they fix a bunch of that, I'll be a huge advocate for this game and start recommending it to people again and start buying ARCs again. They just need to fix their shit, and then they'll have more money and more players.
You could even find some kind of media platform to voice your advocacy of that game and really try to magnify your own voice.
Maybe podcasting even.
Maybe podcasting. Who knows?
I might go do. I don't know. I heard only Losers and Idiots podcast.
Verifiably true.
Yeah, I'm friends with a lot
demonstrably
of
true.
Only for Dark Sky.
My concern is not necessarily a lack of core competencies. My concern is that for a fair number of these bugs, that they're baked in so deeply that they've made the cost-benefit analysis that it's just not worth the money to fix. That it would take too many man hours, too much time to break down and fix it. And I think we've complained for a long time. We just finished having a discussion about their instancing issues in multiplayer. And that's been a problem since Horizons, since the base game. That is probably baked in so deep that they've made the conscious decision that it's not worth digging out and fixing. Which is a shame, because I agree completely. If they did actually fix that stuff, they would get a mountain of good press out of it. But they've I fear they've made the decision that some of this stuff is just too expensive to fix.
Well, they definitely got the bean counter somewhere looking at, cost analysis of things. And I wish I had some understanding of how a game developer decides what problems to address beyond what's bleeding, what's on fire. So,
yeah, that would be.
I think so going back to this thing about, well, these people who are working on the console version and now aren't, doesn't that mean that their expertise is in console development or console porting? In which case, wouldn't they be moved to another game that still has a console version being actively developed?
Ding, ding, ding.
You're 100% right. There's a very good chance that they just went from this game over to Jurassic World or something. There's a very good chance. That's why I don't see this update being.
Well,
whatever. Every update's different than the update before because it's a different update. But I don't see this as being like, oh, now we can finally start working on the game in earnest. Not from a man hours perspective, but maybe only from the perspective of focus. From the perspective of like, are we just trying desperately to make this thing work, or are we moving on? In which case, I think like if we've dumped consoles, then that makes me think that there's less of a focus on performance.
No,
because the way they talk, it's almost like they think it's done.
Let me go glass half full on you on that just real quick.
Hold on, I gotta sit down in my chair here.
Okay, yeah. Sit down. Hold on to your chair.
Set down my drink.
Where I'm coming from, where there could be some boosts, is there could have been fixes that they wanted to implement that they couldn't because of consoles.
Right.
The fix that they've like, well, we could fix this problem, but then it will break this on console, or they don't have the computing power on this to do that. I don't know. That's where my tiny bit of optimism comes from, is there might be fixes that they could not implement because they were worried about console.
And that's where I am too. It's not that the resources that were being spent on console are now available. It's that they no longer have to worry about maintaining multiple platforms, and it may free them up to do other things.
Or it could be a situation where, some memory hole that they have to leave there because Xbox or PlayStation Live has to run through that somehow.
Right.
Well, now they can tidy that up. They don't have to worry about that no more.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, guys. Cool.
And maybe,
I want to end it on a positive
monkeys
note.
will fly out of my butt later. But
yeah, all right. Well, see, I was almost going to end on a positive note, and then monkeys had to fly out of your butt.
One thing they have said,
it's not positive.
One thing they've said we haven't seen yet is that they haven't been able to do any like story content that was Odyssey centric, Heronfoot centric.
Right.
They said because console development.
Because consoles.
But I don't buy that.
We'll touch on this. We'll be touching on this later. Trust me.
All right.
I have a question I want to pose on that, but we can do that later. Because I want just a general question. Go ahead.
Apparently, we're going to talk about that later. I didn't know that, but I trust the man over there. So this is a very fruitful The Bug Report. So now we're going to change gears slightly and talk about in-game news. We have another Blame the Bard segment, and here comes the Tin Hadium Express.
On the board, the Tin Hadium Express!
Welcome aboard the Tin Hadium Express. Lots to get to. Let's get started. May 26th, Golconda gets fixed. No more megaship Offspring. And the Kumo crew defeat rebellious pirates. On May 27th, Fat Stacks Rackham wants to be Prez for Feds. May 30th, Azimuth and Inra sitting in a tree reveal Salvation's identity. May 31st, Golconda surgery complete, still groggy from operation. On June 1st, Archon missed the memo, reason for coup explained. CG prediction, defend the Golconda from the Kumo crew working with Salvation to attack Rackham. That's all for this week. Have fun out there.
Oh, so close.
Yeah.
So close.
So close,
the
and then you
CG for
have to
this,
go too far.
Yeah, the CG for this week turns out to be supplying the Golconda with commodities, including tritium, and reciprocally defending it from piracy. So combat or hauling, pick your flavor. They're only paying money, but apparently the money's pretty good. So, yeah. All right. Thanks, Notorious BARD. And now on to Chig Chat, taking requests for which Chig Chat sound I play. I have a lot.
Yes.
Number 3.
4.
Number 3, here it comes.
Hey, y'all, it's Chig Chat. Oh, we're going to get our Chig Chat up off in here. I tell you what, boy, it's going to be time. I tell you what, this Chig Chat. Where the cheese at?
Is that me?
That's the one labeled 3. I don't know.
I forgot I did that.
Vintage.
That's old school, man. Yeah. I was hoping we would have just went with a new live one from Ty, because those are always fun too. All right, so this week on Chig Chat, for those that don't know, during the live stream this week, they plugged Flight Assist. My Flight Assist interview with Psychit and Mal for the win, and they first pronounced it Chig, then they said Chig, then they said, well, I guess we're right because we said it both ways. So, but just for the record, though, Chig would actually probably be the proper pronunciation because it comes from Anton Chigurh, is where my name origin comes from. So they actually probably pronounced it righter than every person that knows me does, because people just went Chig because, that's how it's spelled. So Chig would work, but we're sticking with Chig because that's just what people call me. It's better to just go with the flow than and Chig Chat sounds so much better than Chig Chat. Chig Chat.
Chig Chat.
Oh my God. So yeah, so I just wanted to talk about that just real quick, that they were right. Righter the first time and actually right the second time. Right? All right.
Right.
Now,
yeah.
Chig Chat has turned into, giving people props for doing awesome stuff during the week and, hitting elite. I didn't see any. Well, there was one elite. Today, Commander Aki 2.0, he had elite 1 in trade. So he's working his way towards, those extra stupid elite ranks that exist. I still hate that it should have been elite, then elite 2, 3, 4, 5. I hate that there's elite, then there's elite 1, then there's elite 2, 3, 4. Sorry, I'm not going to go off on a rant on that. Jesus Christ, these people. I gotta stop. But he did that today, which good for him. Other things, our good man, Bloomingwind, right? Is that his name? Yeah.
Yes.
Bloomingwind.
He had deadly Wind, isn't it? Bloomingwind. Yeah, Bloomingwind 836. He hit deadly in combat, which is an achievement. He's never tried to farm it or anything. That's just through normal gameplay. He's finally hit deadly, so he should hit elite by 2028, 2029 roughly. So he'll keep going there. Earlier in the week, longtime Discord person, Roy Cookson, asked for barbecue sauce advice, or should I say smoked ketchup advice. And everybody went with the original Sweet Baby Ray's, unless we just said take any one you want, because there was honey barbecue sauce, honey chipotle, or they're just regular barbecue sauce. All are win. And it looks like, anybody know, is that a brisket he barbecued up?
I think so.
That's what it looks like to me. He barbecued up a brisket. It looks freaking amazing.
I haven't tried the chipotle. It looks good. I prefer spicy over a super sweet, I think.
Amen. I don't know. I eat everything. We've established this. And then we got some good doggos pictures this week. We had Trax talking about his dogs turning food into poop. Oh, into love and poop.
Yeah, they are machines that turn food into love and poop.
Yes, that is what they are. We had Aki 2.0 again, his 2 co-pilots, Mushu and Shui? Shui? Shu-I?
Yeah.
Yep.
If it was iShoe, it would be probably a tech product, but it's Shua. I don't know. He'll probably correct me when he hears this. Just got back from cataract surgery. Yeah, and then I just want to give a shout out. A good friend of mine, she lost her hound this week, Ida. Really good dog, just super hyper and stuff, and unexpectedly bad heart condition, and down she went. She was only like 6 years old. Just a great dog. And the picture I posted that's not normally her. She's usually got her ears up and, just super hyper, and knew that something was wrong. And salute, Ida. Just wanted to mention that. And as far as Chig Chat goes, I hate to end it on a down note like that, but fuck it. Pour one out for Ida. We can move along. Unless anybody has anything to add. Did you guys do anything that you want a shout out for? You're on the show, so I don't think you guys deserve shout outs. Oh, shit. Trax, you hit triple elite.
Thought you were going to
do it, buddy.
Yeah.
I almost forgot. Man, Good job. It was a long haul.
Congratulations. Yep.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
I do want to say that before I knew that it was all your name was after No Country for Old Men guy, I thought it was Chig in relation to the insect chigger. So
what a terrible thing! What a terrible thing!
Isn't a chigger basically like a tick?
It's like a little biting insect. Yeah, it's bad.
Yeah. I think they're technically called berry ticks or something like that. Berry fleas or something.
So this annoying fucker that joined my Discord
named himself after a biting insect.
I mean, you were cool, so I didn't care what your name was, but that's what I thought. So
all right, great.
Okay. Cool. So moving on to the dev news. This is, of course, Stream Week. So a couple of things. There was there was the typical discovery scanner, which is just turned into basically a recap of whatever has happened the previous week, instead of what it used to be, which was a glorious bit of, developer insight. I miss those old videos because they were great. Anyway, Discovery Scanner happened, but who cares? There was a post on the forums, the commander copy FAQ and expected date. So there's a link here in the show notes. Basically, they went over and answered a bunch of questions that they've been gathering about the commander copy from console process. Aren't really any surprises here, except I noted that NPC crew names, appearance, and progress. Well, progress was copying over. Crew names and appearances are now on the list of things that will copy, which while they weren't before. So that says to me that they're sincerely still working on it, and they may be able to add more things. But there's a bunch of questions being asked here. They also noted that apparently it's going to be possible to essentially merge them, although every time I hear them discuss this feature exactly, it sounds more like what they're saying to you is you can erase your commander on PC, an existing one. So I fail to see how that's a merge. It's really just if you have the name, if you already have the name you want to use, then you can keep the name by just erasing your commander on PC. But by doing so, you'll essentially give up the free PC account that they're giving you, but maybe you've already bought Odyssey on the other account, so blah, 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 blah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so blah, blah, blah is the actual answer. There's a question in Discord this morning, sort of feeling like this person didn't know, I've already made some progress on PC. What if I don't want to give that up? I don't know. I might want to keep playing on my Xbox. What should I do? And I subtly but firmly reminded them that it is a copy and not a transfer. And transferring is not happening. Copying is happening. So copying to PC affects your Xbox commander or PlayStation commander in no way at all. Therefore, There's no harm. So
does your new PC commander like get a goatee or something so it stands out from your original?
It doesn't even need one because they will never be in the same room at the same time.
They really need to push calling it copy. They keep calling it transfer.
Even they're saying transfer, And
it's confusing because they've really given you three options because the old just wealth transfer is still available. If you want it. There's the full copy to a new account, and then there's delete your current PC commander and copy your console commander over to that. So there's really three different options.
Copy.
Yeah. So I think and I don't want to be too harsh on them because I really do think that they've nailed this about as good as they possibly could have. But they do need to make it wasn't exactly clear what all of the options were, and I think they need to do a little bit better job of spelling that out because people do still have some questions.
Yeah, I think the FAQ does an okay job of clearing that up. It's just it's I don't know. I guess I understand what you're saying. It's worded in a way that just has too many words.
Yes,
I feel like
they never do that.
Well, see, I think often they do the opposite, right? And everybody comes down on them, right? Like they say things and maybe they say it in a slightly weird way and it leaves a lot of ambiguity. And here there's just there's pages and pages of this FAQ. And I find the whole thing to be much simpler than this FAQ would lead you to believe. But, I'm one person and there's many thousands of players that all have questions. So they've gone through and farmed all these things. But I think that the bottom line for me, and I think to say to all the console people or anyone who has a console account essentially is when this window, by the way, September is the expected date right now for this to happen. They will let us know ahead of time. You're not going to miss it. But there will be a time window within which you can do this copy. Every console commander should be copied. Unless you're literally not playing the game and not hearing this news at all, that's the only reason you shouldn't be doing this because they're gonna, if you're not sure, if you want to overwrite an existing PC account, then just make a new one. Just let them make a new one, but do it. If you never log into that PC account, it's fine. You should still do it.
Exactly.
That's all. Just do it. It harms nothing, and that's the answer. Just do it. Every single console account should be copied.
Can I ask a question? Because when I was reading all this, and I've been thinking about this now for a week and a half, basically. The thought came to my mind is as I was thinking about how if it's a copy, what would be the reason why some console player would not want to do this? And then I had the thought, well, there's no reason why any console player would not, aside from if they have a PC account they don't necessarily want to attach it to. Okay. But what is harming FDev from going ahead and just saying, we're going to copy your shit over, and if you want it attached to an account, we'll do that. And if you don't, that's fine. It'll just fall off in a year or whatever.
Oh, well, that sounds like a database issue. I mean, I think what they want to do is they want to, for one thing, they need to let people pick their names because they're establishing accounts here. They're not just, they have to put the data somewhere, right. So they can't just let it sit nowhere until you pick a name. No, I don't think that could ever work. So, they need player interaction, right? They can't just say, we're dumping the entire database. You will appear here whether you like it or not. Because they need to reconcile name conflicts.
Well, they're gonna basically all you got to do there is just add some numbers to someone's name and flag them for a name change.
But they're making work if they do that. So I get what you're saying. But I know why they're not doing that. It's like if they let the players initiate it, then they don't have to do it to all the people who aren't paying attention. Yeah. Which are the people who don't care. And then they get the names situated from the get-go, and they don't have to go fishing through the database afterwards.
But all they would have to do, I'm kind of with Ty here. I wasn't sure where he was going with it, but all that they would have to do is you already have kind of an FDev account, and they're giving away a free copy of Odyssey with a copy of your console commander, is just tie that to your account. If at any point in the future you decide you're going to play on PC, your console commander has that save point at the date that this stuff becomes available just in your back pocket. So it's like, I'm going to play PC now. Bam, you'd get the progress of wherever you were at the time that this happened. Because it is just data.
But commanders are created. The first thing that happens when your commander's created is you choose a name. So I don't think there are any records that don't have a name on them.
What happens when
you give it a dummy name and flag it for name change?
Yeah.
Well, what happens when I've never done a name change. Do you log into the game and type your name? I don't think so. You have to email with somebody.
No, you actually, because I've actually done a name change way, way, way back in the day. Because when I was first typing it in, I didn't realize it was multiplayer, and I misspelt my name. Stupid, I know, but I do that sometimes whenever I'm doing single player games because I'm trying to log in real fast. I didn't really realize it was multiplayer at that point. That sounds stupid, but I knew there was multiplayer, but I thought I was just doing the single player side. I didn't know it was all in one because I was first. But anyway, so I had a name change. I got my name spelled correctly.
So what happened? How do they do it?
You back then you had to email them. You say what you want your name change to be, and then when you log in, it says your account's ready for a name change or something, and you type it in.
Oh, so they don't type it for you. So what if you type something different when that prompt comes up?
I don't know. I didn't experience that. I would assume that it's more of a verification process than a actual thing because you have to submit names you want it to be.
Yeah.
And then they approve one of the names.
Right. I've heard that you submit three options in priority, and then they tell you which one you got. And
the way I did mine.
Okay.
The way I did mine was like, I just emailed them and said, hey, so this is what I want my name to be. It was a misspelling. If it can't be this, please let me know. And then I don't know, like a week later or whatever, they said, all right, we'll do it. We've changed your name to this. Log in, and then I logged in, and it's like, do you want to, I can't remember exactly what it said, but it was name change, type it in. Okay. And I typed it in, and it was done.
All right. Well, maybe that would work. So then maybe the only reason left is they don't want to have to do it for people who aren't paying attention.
Well, I mean, I think, and maybe I'm wrong about this, but ultimately, if I was doing this kind of database move, I would set up scripts to where it's basically all automated besides the user interaction. Well, if they're gonna,
it's got to be.
Yeah, if they're going to be a situation where they're going to migrate, I don't know how many accounts there are. Let's say there's 500,000 accounts on console that they have to deal with, and let's say 150,000 of them are going to elect to migrate over. Okay, great. Why would they not just go ahead and move all 500,000 and just flag them all for a name change? And because they're going to have to sync them up to a Steam or Epic account, they're going to have to do a name change.
All of them are going to appear in the Frontier launcher. No Steam or Epic for the transfers because they're giving you Horizons to do it. They're giving you Horizons on the Frontier launcher, so it won't be Steam or Epic.
I got you. So basically, you would actually go to the. Okay, so you
that makes
go to
it
the
actually
Frontier.
Easier for them to do it.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, because there's no account linking or anything they would have to do. That makes it even easier. So all they would have to do then is just flag it for a password. Just flag it for a
name change.
A name change if it's not unique. If it is unique, leave it alone.
Well, it wouldn't even have to be. Every account could just be assigned a number that's assigned to your email. So there's no name change. It's when you go to activate that account on PC, you put in a name, and if the name's available, it's yours. If it's not, you'd have to choose a different name.
That's true. I suppose it's the same system as when you start a new commander. If you put in a name that's already taken, it says that name's taken.
Yeah.
Okay. It's like, it seems to me like they're putting a lot on the
maybe it will
user base when what they really should. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was assuming that there was going to be some back and forth of the form because that's how I thought the name change works. I knew you were supposed to submit 3 options and they tell you which one you got. I assume they just did it, and the next time you logged in, it would appear to have happened. But if they're just using the in-game prompt to facilitate it, then that means that the game can do that with a commander that's not at the very beginning, that's not blank. And therefore, maybe that is the way it's going to happen, because they didn't say like, and you're going to have to email us. They said like, if your name doesn't match up, then you'll be prompted to change. And I guess maybe you'll just type right then and see what you get.
I just think that there's zero reason why a console player would not want to do this. You know, even on the off chance that they never touch it, because it's not going to affect their console account at all. And then at least if they, you know, get a PC at some point, they have the option. But
yeah, the only thing that affects your console account is that currently, and they say they're still working on it, so it could change, but currently they are not planning on bringing over carriers. So you're going to decommission and liquidate your carrier to bring that over as credits, and then rebuy on both sides, basically. Both commanders can rebuy it after that.
Right.
Unless you already have a gazillion credits and you don't care, so you just keep carrier on your...
buy a second one.
And just buy one when you're on PC.
Well, and if you think about it, if they just go ahead and move everybody over anyway, which I think that, because I think that this whole thing has been kind of handled poorly, that what they should have had this somewhat prepared beforehand, before they just
before they announced that they were stopped. We've talked about that ad nauseum for sure.
But if they were to basically say, all the console players, we're going to go ahead and get your accounts moved over September 1st or whatever the date is. September 1st will be the date. You know, we're going to move them over. If you have a carrier attached, we're going to give you what that carrier, you know, what the credits are worth, you know, what you would get if you decommed it. That way,
that way you don't have to go through the trouble.
Right. Just give them the credits on their PC account, and then they're done.
Yeah.
That would be easier, because now that we've talked this all out, it does seem like the carriers might be the only thing keeping them from just making it an automatic process.
Yeah. It like when I was reading all this, all I could think about is that this really feels like they're making it complicated just to make it complicated. Because look, at the end of the day, it's just two databases. It's all it's just a fields of a database. Is all it is.
Yeah, but if the carriers can't come over, unless they. Well, but we know that they can liquidate because they do, the wealth transfer still exists.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So all the only thing that we've never seen them do, but should be possible, is a partial wealth transfer, which would essentially be this, except the only thing they're liquidating is the carrier, and that might be for some kind of code reason, right? Because the carrier persists in both universes, so you can see where that might be an issue.
But I mean,
at the very least, it would need a new ID or something, which isn't that big a deal.
But I mean, like,
but they could just do the credits, though, like he said.
Right. If they can partially liquidate, then they could make it a truly automatic process. And then the only thing left is we just don't want to do it to people who aren't paying attention. Like, it's a lot of work.
Which you could argue, like, well, what if I'm in a coma for 9 months or whatever, and then I'm stuck and I'm screwed out of this or something.
So we got to worry about the fringe in a coma minority that don't want to make them angry.
I don't literally mean that, but
my heart bleeds as much as the next guy. But I think that's a little over the line for me. I feel very bad for anyone in a coma, but you're going to have to earn your credits back to get a new carrier, I guess.
I feel worse if they could hear me talking right now, but they can't. So I don't.
Well, I wasn't so much thinking about the carrier. I was thinking more along the. I was thinking more along
missing
the
the whole transfer.
Yeah, missing the transfer.
Copy.
Yeah.
Now we've got me doing it.
Let me just say this. Can I get a bit salty for a minute?
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Sure.
All right.
I'm going to jump in on this. When they announced what was happening, I everybody, oh my God, they nailed it. They did it. They finally did it right. They did something right. This is perfect. These transfers are great. Blah blah. And then I saw the date, September. All I could think of is, if I was a console player and I had, getting my PC ready, I'm ready to finally start my PC master race career and my favorite game. This is awesome. I'm ready to liquidate this and do this and go. And then they say September, literally an entire season is going to pass. All of summer is going to pass before I can, in earnest, start progressing my PC account. It's just gross to me. I would be so mad. I would be playing a different game for 3 months. Am I coming back? I know it might sound petty, but just try to put yourself in the shoes of somebody who's coming from console, and now all of a sudden you've already been put off for a couple months as they're trying to make a decision. Then they finally go, here's everything. It looks fantastic. This is great. Yeah, it's going to happen in the fall. It just really rubs me wrong.
Would it be any different if instead of canceling the console, they had said, yeah, the console version of Odyssey is coming out in September?
If that was definitive, they put a date on it, then that would be better. Because you could continue to progress your character. I don't know. I'm more along the lines of people who already had committed to moving to PC. They're waiting for the news on this. We've got some guys, Rick Dalton, Single Malt Scotty, who have really made a lot of progress on PC, have went out and spent a lot of money on hardware, getting ready to really go down this rabbit hole, and have committed to still supporting this game and moving away from console, and they're ready to go. And now, 3 months. And us old farts, what's 3 months really? We blink and that passes. But it's still weird. And think about this, a lot of the stuff, the speculation, once again, almost everything we do at this game involves speculation. And a big speculation point we've had is the story moving forward has to wait until, console is done and everything else. Well, this whole saga with consoles won't be done technically till September now. So is this 3 months before we have any chance of seeing this on-ground Thargoid stuff that everybody wants and seeing anything else? Is all of this narrative stuff pushed off because they'll want to wait until the console folk,
you people
with us? Am I right?
All these extra man hours from stopping console development have been put into the console copy process, so we've gained nothing on PC development. You got it, Chig.
But they said that the story would be able to advance now. Like they specifically said the story would be able to advance now at the time when they announced that console was not getting any more development.
Yeah, but they also didn't think that people would want to transfer from console at that point.
We don't know that they didn't think of it. They just didn't make any plans to accommodate it.
We know they didn't think.
It's also a little weird if you look at the timing on it. So like August update 13 is when they're doing narrative content and stability and optimization. And then update 14 is in November, and that's the major narrative phase. So at the very least, they'll have this done before the major narrative phase. Is what I mean. This just looking at their little layout here. So
that timing cannot be accidental.
No, it can't be.
So they're holding this stuff off until the console transfers are complete, and then it's like, all right, here's some ground missions against. We're assuming Thargoids. Who knows? Maybe it could be Guardian AI comes back. I just don't know.
I think that without a doubt, we're going to have to assume that the narrative content will be compatible with Horizon in August. Why? Well, the reason I said that is because yeah. Now the major narrative one in November, I think that's where we get the ground combat, everything. Not the ground, the Thargoid ground combat.
Well, Odyssey intensive CGs. How's that for a way to put it?
Yeah. And the thing there, let me just put that in perspective here. That'll be 18 months after launch.
Jesus.
Yeah, that'll be 18 months after they push the button on this. And if you take COVID out, the year of COVID where everything was, screwed up and people couldn't go to work and stuff.
What's this COVID thing? I've never heard of it.
If you take the year of COVID out, that puts the whole thing 6 months behind.
So, I feel like we're nearing the end here, and I want to. I'm not trying to cut you guys off or anything, but I think we've obviously a lot of good points made. And maybe end on this note, like what do you think can be learned from this? Like you're specifically talking about how far behind you are, like, or it all is 18 months real time. considering circumstances, still at least 6 months behind where they should have been. Let's do around the house. Do you think FDev or game companies in general will learn fuck all from this or not? Somebody go first.
Let me say this. The way that the gaming industry is right now, we all know they put out their game and then they try to fix it as they go forward. And every game company's timeline, like what was that new space game that's coming out from the one company?
Bethesda?
Space. Yeah.
Starfield.
Starfield, is that what it is?
Starfield.
When that got delayed 6 months or 8 months or whatever they delayed it, it was a collective yawn because it's like, well, duh. They said it was going to be this date. Everybody knew it would be delayed at least once. And every single game gets delayed that way. And I just don't think any of these companies have any idea how long it actually takes to develop games, even though this is their business. You know what I'm saying? And what I come away is, it's got to be, the suits are like, well, we need to have excitement. We need a target date. We need this and everything else. One fix that they could do is maybe have a timeline officer working at these companies who looks at when, the suits say we need it by this date. The developers say they need another year. Well, the date that would normally come out is the suits date. Let's go 6 months added to that. And if it's far more functional in 3 months, it comes out early, the peasants rejoice. If it's delayed, it's not delayed as much as it currently is in the current state of the industry. And I'm not the guy who's going to fix the industry. It's just some thoughts I've had that always, under promise, over deliver, or whatever the saying is. Just push your release dates out a little bit with the goal to come out early. No, don't make it our goal is to have it out by this date. No. Add 6 months to that and try to get it out before that, and you'll make people expectations are everything. That's all I have to say.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Data, what do you think? Do they learn anything?
No, I don't think so. I think hopefully they're getting better at their communication, hopefully. But no, I don't think there'll be a lot of big changes otherwise until I see them.
Call it like you see it. Nurgle.
This is not the first time a game company has fallen flat on its face with a rushed launch. No one has learned yet. I don't expect that to change.
And Ty?
No, they're not going to learn nothing. And because it boils down to somewhere out there is a accountant with a little notepad or a spreadsheet that says how much money a game or expansion is supposed to make. And if it doesn't hit that goal, it's considered a failure. And there's a timetable that goes along with that. So there you go.
All right.
I like how I gave 1,000-word dissertation, and each of these guys was done in like 20 seconds.
God, well, they all read the room. I was looking for a quick thing.
What's your thought? What's your thought?
Yeah,
I don't think they learn anything, because as much as it would be nice for them to have some officer or something like that that's in charge of that, that would be a person that had to be hired by the boardroom, and they don't want anything. They don't want the industry to move in that direction. They want everything. They want the programming to catch up to whatever timetable they set, regardless of what the programmers say is realistic.
That's true.
There's no pressure at all to move in that direction, except financial pressure. And I mean, the whole industry is like this, and they abuse their staff. The turnover is crazy, and it's continuing to be like this. And I just don't see any reason why it'll change. Until we all stop buying games, it's not going to change.
Until we all stop pre-ordering games.
Oh,
I guess, but you got, well, I'm done too. But if a game here's the thing, if a game says it's in alpha, this is like, it's like Star Citizen, like yeah, it's a fucking mess. Like I've never tried it. Do you know why? Because I don't buy games before they're released because I don't feel like dealing with messes. But the thing is, like you guys said earlier, this is the whole point, is you release a game and then you fix it. They think that's fine. They all think it's fine. It's what they're all doing. And so they don't have to put it up for pre-order. They just say this is the actual sale. And what comes out is basically whatever Odyssey turned out to be. And then they spend the next 18 months fixing it. And it's like, well, yeah, but it released on May 19th, 2020 or 2021 or whatever the fuck. And no, it fucking didn't. It was been in beta for a year, but if they just call it a release, then it released. And so that we didn't, it's like anybody who bought it on May 19th officially didn't pre-order it, but they did because it's trash.
Was this more of a reason to really support our independent developers? Like our friends, this week we had Little Dragon and Fernando, what's his name?
Fernando Z.
Fernando Z working on that game, HunterNet Starfighter, that Trax had brought up on the show a long time ago and had given a whirl. And now, because he plugged that, they heard of us and they've hopped in our Discord. And, I'm getting ready to give this game a try. And they're independent developers, it's still a passion project for these guys. So I don't know. I think I'm going to give a plug for that.
Work.
Yeah.
Let's slip into this is community corner now. So HunterNet Starfighter is updating all the time, sometimes small, sometimes big updates, and he keeps adding features, and the whole thing's sort of playable and receiving feedback as it goes. And it's a lot of fun what he's got going. I actually haven't touched on it in several weeks, and I think there's some major features that have come since the last time I played, but it's VR compatible now. Pretty neat Starfighter game.
That looks good.
I don't know. Do you want to talk? Do you want to talk more about it? I mean, he did a long
people to check it out.
He did a long interview on Lave quite a while ago at this point, but I'm sure it could be found, and talked a lot about the plans for like what the game universe is going to be. There's going to be a lot to it. There's going to be a lot of political. It's ambitious. There's going to be sort of a background simulation analog within it, and it's not just at the time it was basically that what was published was an arena shooter in space, and it's going to be a lot more than that. I think it might already be a lot more than that, but anyway.
I think that we should totally get them on the show, by the way.
We should reach out.
They're from Spain, though, so the time difference, we'd have to try to do...
He comes to the States sometimes.
Okay.
Because I know, for one thing, the VR support wasn't added until he made one of his trips to the States because he had to get himself a headset in order to be able to do any testing with it. So we should reach out. We should see what's up.
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely be interested in, this game's been on my wish list for, I don't know, several months. I say several months. I can't remember exactly when it was. It's been on my Steam thing for a while now. I can't remember. I can't remember when the hell I saw it. I think I saw it off of Chig at one point, and then that's where I Steam listed it. But I've been kind of quietly following this game, trying to see if it ends up being something really, really good. Everything I've seen so far, I'm very impressed with. I think that they're going in the right direction. Will it work out? I don't know, but I will also say this. No game developer starts off wanting to make a video game strictly to make money. Everybody who does it because they're having a good time. They love video games. They want to do it. It's their passion project. And at some point, some of these fucking
suits
bean counters hop in the room and start saying, well, we got to start making this out here, blah, blah, blah. We got to start making this. We need this out sooner, blah, blah, blah. Doesn't really matter if it doesn't work. Doesn't really matter if people don't like it. Doesn't really matter if it's ugly or broken. We just want that out there. We can fix it later. And these bugs don't really matter. We're not making enough money here. Let's get this right here. It's all horse shit. All of it. And I'm a capitalist. So for a business to make money is the only way that they survive. So I want the gaming companies that I love and the games that I love, I want them to make money. I will happily support them and tell other people to support them. But I haven't bought anything from FDev ever since June, July of last year. I haven't spent any money on ARCs. The only thing I've bought ARCs wise was free ARCs that I've earned by doing things in game.
Yep, that's not buying.
Exactly. So,
let me stop you right there. That's not buying.
Pedantic bitch, Jesus.
Frontier. There are certain companies, and I don't want to say they're on my shit list, but they're on my. You're not getting any more money from me until you can show me that you're doing a 180. And Frontier made that list, and Ubisoft is on that list. Blizzard is on that list. Activision with their next Call of Duty is on that list.
You mean Diablo Immortal, the phone-based game, didn't change your mind?
Oh my god!
I mean, it's a situation where they got one more shot, and I'm going to be done with them on the whole. And man, I am drinking.
What are you doing on the whole? On whose hole? What?
Oh god!
on the pole.
On the pole.
Anyway,
that's even worse.
It is. I'm waiting. I got to do a little work thing here in a minute. So I'm waiting for this person to come online on chat, and I'm gonna have to bow out. But anyway, the whole thing I wanted to say was that, just like these people who made 100 Ant Starfighter, they're doing this as a passion project, and they're hoping that they can make some good money off it. They're not going this because they want to make the multi-billion dollars. They just want to have fun with it. And
yeah,
I wish to totally get them on the show and go from there. I would love to try it out. I would love to try it out in both VR and in normal. Anyway, that's all I got.
All right.
Okay. Oh, is it back to me? It's back to me then. All right. Yeah. No, I agree. Yeah. No, 100net's fun. They have a racing component to it as well, which is neat. He put one of the maps.
What a novel idea we've been talking about for 3 years.
Yeah.
I'll shut up. I'll put myself on mute.
He's got a map that's
he's not FDev.
He's not FDev. No, he's a person. He's
what?
A person. He's a person.
Huh.
Yeah.
Cool. Neat.
Yeah.
I forgot one Chig chat shout out, by the way. By the way. Lark Shadow, this is how low we're stooping to get accomplishments. Lark Shadow is hoping to have his T10 A-rated by the end of the night.
He just did it. He did it.
He got it.
It happened. It happened.
Oh
Woo-hoo!
my god!
Woo-hoo!
Yeah, he posted something a little while ago about finally getting that last module and A-rating it.
I don't. He plays a different game than I play. I swear to God.
He plays it so much differently.
I know. I never. Oh God! If I don't have the parts laying around for a ship I'm building, I just go to Jameson.
Yep.
Yeah.
I just can't imagine not just going to Jameson Memorial
and just buying it.
Is he not elite anywhere?
He's got to have trade or something.
He's got
exploration. He's always going out. He's always anyway.
I'll answer that question.
Are you looking it up?
Will you do it soon?
Well, now that you mentioned it, no, I think I'll take my time.
Chig, you want to talk about some cheese?
How about I do a couple movies first? Because there are some good ones this week. What a really badass one. We talked about it last week.
I can hear your mouse wheel.
Hold on, I'll make it quiet. Now can you hear it?
No, I think it's. Oh no, it's gone. I just thought it was funny. He was like, "I got to do movies." Scroll.
He's elite in trade and exploration.
All right. Well, what's your excuse, Lark? Go to.
If you need an escort, we'll help you. We'll escort you to Jameson Memorial. Seriously, Jesus Christ, this guy.
We've run out of reel on the audio tapes here. We're recording on, guys.
Oh boy. All right. So we talked about this movie last week. This movie is another 1997 movie because I asked, what's the best John Cusack movie? And Con Air got brought up, and Nurgle's like, "Oh my god!" But that movie is 25 years old. On the 6th, so there's a few days, but it's Con Air.
That's week.
25 years old. Yes, this work. And then there was another movie.
Grosse Point Blank.
We talked about that.
We talked about that.
I wasn't here. Damn it.
Then you don't matter. All right, here's two good ones. 40 years ago, 1982. I'll go this one first because it's not space related. Poltergeist, June 4th, 1982. Ooh. You guys ever seen the original Poltergeist with Coach?
Yep.
Nope.
Nah.
Those were real skulls in the pool.
I know. I heard that.
Yeah, I heard that.
Them out.
I've seen that one.
Oh, come on. That movie's so good. You need to go watch that. God
really
damn it.
Good.
On that same day in 1982, what many people consider the best Star Trek movie ever released, the peak of
Nemesis.
Star Trek. Shut your hole. Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan came out 40 years ago.
Wow.
In 2 days. Any thoughts on that?
It's a good movie.
Would you
they
rank
fly in
another
2
one above it?
dimensions. I don't know.
In the Star Trek scene, no, I would not rank another one above it.
The only thing I know is they fly in 2 dimensions when they're doing supposedly an intense battle.
No, it's spoiler alert, people. When they're
fighting a 40-year-old movie.
When they're fighting in the whatever nebula it
Mutara.
is. Yeah. Nice recall. Kirk realizes that Khan he's not an experienced captain, so he's only thinking in 2 dimensions. So that's how Kirk got smart, right?
Spock tells him that. Yeah. Spock tells him something. I think the line is something about his maneuvering indicates 2-dimensional thinking or something like that.
That's how they get him.
Yeah.
So, and realize that was 40 years ago. Yes, we now have shit like in The Expanse where they vent the atmosphere in the ship prior to battle. Right. They know they're probably going to lose it, so you don't have explosive decompression and stuff like that. You know, we've come a long ways in sci-fi thought since 1982. So back then that was pretty clever and blew a lot of people's minds. I mean, in the one Star Wars movie with Grand Admiral Thrawn, what are those books called? I don't remember. He defeats an enemy in the novel by doing the same kind of thing that, you know, they weren't great spacefaring race, so they don't think in 3 dimensions as much as other people do, and he beat them that way. So that was, as a young lad, that was mind-blowing to me. These days, we've seen so much of this stuff that you gotta do a lot more than just, you know, go to 3 dimensions to fool us. But that was badass back then.
All right.
And it was the Fantasy Island guy. Come on, Ricardo Montalban.
It's fine Corinthian leather in your...
Yes. So those are the movies this week. And cheese-wise, I'm going to go back to good old Chig Chat because somebody posted something that I had not seen before, and I absolutely loved it. They ate at Culver's, and they got cheese curds that came with a cheese dipping sauce, so they could dip their fried cheese into cheese sauce, and I am going to have that for lunch tomorrow.
Yeah, so that's the exhibit thing, right? Like, yo, bro, we heard you like cheese.
Yeah.
Hey, would you like a little side of cheese with your cheese?
We put some cheese in your cheese so you can cheese while you cheese. Yeah, that sounds pretty good. There's a Culver's right here by the house. I guess I have to try it.
I've got one right up by my work, so I'm going to have to give that a go tomorrow. But I just want to mention this too. People that think that FDev might actually listen to us and know what we're talking about. I know they called us a funny group of commanders, but literally when they talked about me being on Flight Assist, they had no idea who the fuck I was. Yeah, I mean, they had no idea. They were like, it's Commander Chig from Loose Screws. No, it's like Commander Chig or whatever. Yeah. We got it right. You know, they had no idea who we are.
No, they had no idea.
This is a good thing.
They call out the titles of our show, but then he said my name was Gentrix, which means he literally doesn't even listen to the first 10 seconds of an episode because I always say my name.
They have.
It's fine.
They mispronounce Jantrix to Gentrix, they call me Chig. So yeah, they don't listen. just wanted to point that out.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. We're all gonna make it.
Yeah, so anybody thinks we're a company shill, well, we're definitely not.
Oh, who was thinking that? Yeah.
Nobody thinks that.
If they paid me enough, I would be. Wait, what?
But the key phrase there is paid.
Wait, pay me anything. If they paid me anything?
Yeah.
All right. Well, that sounds like an episode of a podcast that is this podcast. So thanks, everybody. Ty had to duck out early, but thanks to Ty, Worsham, Chig, Data, Nurgle for joining me. Thanks to my Chig. Thanks for my thanks to the soundboard for making it so I don't have to slum it by holding my phone up to the microphone. If you like the show, send us a review. If you do that, good things will happen to you. Maybe, I don't know.
If not, bad things are coming your way.
Yeah, think of this as a chain letter. Just throw it away.
It's not a pyramid scheme. It's a funnel. Find
us in Discord at discord.io/loosescrews and join the fun. And we have a merch store, which is at loosescrewsed.com, where there's all kinds of fun stuff that has our logo on it and sometimes other jokes.
Am I right?
Am I right? That's going to do it for us. And we'll see you next week. Fly loose and try to be screwy or something. Say bye.
Bye.